everybody, this is Julie with Ready Set Stamp, and I have a review here that I'm going to do with Faber-Castell, and it's a mixed media sampler, and it includes an art grip water pencil. It includes the Pitt Pastel. This is the Pitt Pastel. I love this. I'll show you how this works in a little bit. This is the Stamper's Big Brush, the metallic Pitt Artist Pen, and this is metallic gelato. So I'll go into a little bit more details about these now. Okay, the first thing I'm going to be working with here is the gelato. The gelato looks like a chapstick, and it's actually, it kind of feels a little like chapstick when it goes on. And this is a pigment that glides on. It's really, this color in particular looks like almost a coral color. It's actually considered in the red is what it came with in the package, and thought it was just absolutely gorgeous. So I'll show you a little bit about this. What it does is it adds shimmer to anything that you're using, and it looks really nice on dark colors. That's what they recommended. However, I tried it with a light color and thought it was gorgeous. So let me show you what I mean here. This is just a white ribbon, and what I did was just rub the gelato on it like this, so I can change the color of the ribbon to whatever color your gelato is. And I happen to really like this color. I think it's just beautiful. And then what I did, I've tried this out before just to see how it worked. I just rubbed my finger on it like this just to blend it in really well, like that, and fill in the gaps there. But you can kind of get the idea of how this would work. And this is absolutely gorgeous color. It is so pretty, and it's really pretty on this ribbon too. This ribbon is really nice, and I think complements this very well. So the nice thing about this too, it's odorless and it's acid free. So you should definitely give these a try. And I also tried this on one of these little pieces of paper that I cut out here. So let me show you what that was like. You just kind of do just a little bit here. And what you can do, because it also says you can use it with water. I have a little bit of water here. You kind of use this as a little bit of a watercolor, and look at this blend. So it kind of blends in like so, and then you can actually color what you're working with, and you'll just wait for that to dry a little bit. But isn't that neat? So it kind of gives it a more of a muted color when you're doing it this way rather than what you saw here with this. But I think that's pretty neat. So there's a way to work with that, and I'll show you how to use the watercolor pencil in just a second. The next thing that I want to show you is this Art Grip Aquarelle watercolor pencil. And what I love about this is that the pigments are permanent, the color will become waterproof, and it's also light fast so that your items that you're watercoloring will last a lifetime. Now initially, when you want to color something in, let's say you're doing a stamped image and you want to color it in, or if you just like to do watercolor on its own, that's fine too. Initially, when you put water to it, of course, it's going to become lighter and faded like that. But then as it dries, it's then going to become permanent. So then, and permanent, and also it will become waterproof, so that if you want to add other colors to it, it's not going to bleed into that. So I think that's really a neat aspect to this. So let's move on to the next item. The next item that I'm going to show you is the Pitt Pastel pencil. And what this does is it gives you the desired look without all the mess and the dust. So what it does is create soft chalk edging, or you can do soft chalk edging around one of your items here. So let me show you this. I think this looks so pretty. And I'm just going around the edging, and you can imagine what I love about this is just the precision. I mean, can you imagine this if you want to do edging around a page just to enhance something? And they're so nice. I mean, like I said, they're pastels, so they just go on really nicely. And the nice thing about it being a pastel, if you chose to want to smudge it further, so let me show you what I mean by that. Let me see if I can zoom in so you can see me smudging this a little bit further. There we go. So if I take my finger, and if I just want to rub into the corners where you did the pastel, I love this. Look, it's so beautiful. So now it almost gives it like this flower has got some really pretty color to it around the edges. Isn't that beautiful? Can you guys see the color around the edges on that? I think that's so pretty. Love this. I could see me using this a lot. The next thing that I want to show you is the Faber-Castell Pit Artist Pen, and this is the same thing as the big brush, but it's on a smaller scale. It's definitely more of a fine tip pen, and the cool thing about this is that it also is metallic. This one's called Ruby Metallic. And the nice thing is that it's made out of India ink, so this won't bleed through. So if you're writing something or trying to color something in, it's not going to bleed through into your page, and neither will this big brush one, which I think is really a cool feature to have. They're also definitely acid-free, they're odorless, and this is considered a special bullet nub. The bullet nub delivers rich metallic pigment. So, and you can even use it for inking stamps. So what I'm going to do here is just use one of my ink pads here that I have with the same, my pink stamper stamp here. And I kind of want to show you, I'm going to be doing this a little bit upside down, so you might not see this really well, but I kind of want to show you a little bit about when you're stamping it and you go over here. It's really neat with this one because you can kind of see through it, so it almost gives it like a 3D effect with it, and it also is metallic, so I love the way that looks. I think that's really cool. I want to show you a card that I've made using the Gelato Faber-Castell. So what I've done is just gone ahead and colored the ribbon. I showed you guys that early on, and I've just put some ATG tape on the back of this, so I'm just going to add that onto my card here. Center that, press that down. For the next step, I've got the same basic kind of lime green colored paper, but I use the pastel on the outside of this, and then I'm going to just take one of these dark brown cardstock and just adhere that to the center here. So let's go ahead and do that. Put that right in the center here. Gives it a really pretty edging on the outside of that. I'm just going to add some ATG tape to the back of this here. There we go. And we will add that onto the center of this card here. Looks good. The next step I'm going to do is take the pastel pencil and just go along the edges to really make this flower stand out and make it look like it has really lovely petals. You guys saw me do this earlier, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish this up, and then I'm going to rub it so that you guys can kind of see it blend in there, and we'll come right back. Okay, so I've gone ahead, and you can see the edges that I've done on there, and then I just have a little brown piece that cut out with my Cricut here. And by the way, I'm using my Kate's ABCs. I cut it out at 2.5 inches, and then the outside of the white flower, I cut that part out at 3¼ inches, and this was from page 27 if you'd like to redo what I've done here. So I'm going to go ahead and just adhere this onto the center like that. And then what I'm going to do is take my Zig 2A glue pen and add it to the back of this stem here. So let me move that out of the way so that I can add the glue here. There we go. And we're just going to take that onto here, add that right there. How cute is that? There we go. And now I'm going to take this little flower and use a Zot in the center here. There we go. Put that right there. How cute is this card? And now I'm going to take one of these 3D Zots, add this to the back of the stamp image that I have. And this image was from the My Pink Stamper Everyday Life. Isn't that so cute? So let me get this here. Add that onto there so it's a little 3D. That's so cute. And that, I bent the edges up a little bit on this so that it would look really cute. So this is just going to be a really simple card, but I think it turned out really super cute. So as you can see, these products are absolutely adorable. I love them, and I think that the shimmer in this is just gorgeous. It is so pretty. And it's got some shimmer around the outside of this too. And I love working with these pastel little pencils. I think they're just amazing. And then how you can rub them in and make it blend. It's just so beautiful. So hopefully you guys will give this a try. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. I ended up adding a little rhinestone to the center that I think made it look really cute. And one last thing, I'm also having a giveaway over at my blog, compliments of the Faber-Castell, and it's at www.readysetstamp.com. Leave one comment per person, please. You don't need to subscribe, but I would absolutely love it if you would. And I will have the drawing, I'll have the specifics on the website. And just thank you again so much for stopping by. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.